don't know if it's just me, but I can't hear.
Same for me.
Yeah, I don't hear Marson either. Yeah, no, I can't. I see your mouth moving, but
okay, now better. Okay, great. So hello everyone again. Welcome to our weekly SIG meeting. Today we have 3 items on the agenda. The first one is from Suraj.
Just wanted to ask Guy if there was any update around adding new reviewers. And I looked at in the PRs. I have contributed. I feel like I should aim for a reviewer myself. But generally speaking, just wanted to ask if there was any update around this.
No, I've been my intent is at the moment to use the migration of Carpenter core as a effectively a template on like breaking out permissions and making them more granular, which will make things a bit easier in terms of blast radius of adding more permissions. My other hope is to leverage some of that excitement around the adoption of Carpenter into sort of getting some others contributing and then sort of up the contributor ladder. But no concrete progress on that at the moment.
Okay. I guess I'll wait. Thank you for the update. I'm looking for reviews on 2 PRs. One is to support scale down delay flag per node group. Right now it is per cluster. And the other one is to support a Quark cloud provider. If we have some time, I would like to do a short introduction around the provider. And, the third item I have is I've just reviewed a PR, need approval from someone. So I cannot approve the PR. That's all I have.
Yeah, the third one's on my list of PRs to review this week.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, the next item is Daniel.
Yes. Yeah, this is really just a heads up. I'm planning to do cluster Autoscaler patch releases this week. I already created an issue and tagged all the GitHub handles I found in any of the owner's files under cluster Autoscaler. No requests to include anything in the patch release so far, but if you have anything, please let me know. I would probably be doing that Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah, so that's it. Thanks.
Marco.
Yeah, so this is basically a question triggered by something I read in some issue on the VPA side. I unfortunately can't find the link easily. I think somebody mentioned that the VPA topic, like the workload auto-scaling or how it was phrased, is being hand-overed. And I'm not sure, if this is the right place to talk about this, or like
yeah, so there was some reorg happening on the Google side. So Joachim will stop working on VPA, and some folks from Waterloo will pick it over. So we will have full-time staffing on VPA, but it will take a while for them to fully ramp up.
Okay, and like full staffing means like how many? Can you talk about how many people?
So like at least 2.
Okay.
So hopefully the work on this will progress. There was like in every company there are some reorg. I cannot go into details. why and
Yeah.
what happened.
Yeah, that's fine.
But yeah, that's the thing. So nothing bad happened
Mhm.
to VPA. We're still supporting it, just slightly different folks. But hopefully this thing will progress, and we will have like a good support and timely reviews soon.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for the transparency.
Okay, Maciek.
I have a minor topic regarding cluster autoscaler where I wanted to gather some opinions. So I've recently been talking with someone about extending the status config map of cluster autoscaler, which consists various information, in particular adding a new key to the config map, which would contain information about the reasons for all the ongoing backoffs. This is problematic now because if cluster autoscaler has backed off from scaling up a certain node group, you can't easily find information about why. So having this in config map would be, I guess, better than what we have. Ideally, would want to have this in events, but this would require bigger changes. And one of the ideas there was to add this new data as YAML, so it can be automatically parsed, or JSON, or some other format like this. And I think that all of those are good ideas. And because this is just extension adding another key to config map, I don't think there is any backward compatibility challenges to this. But if we're adding a new key in YAML or JSON, I've been thinking, should we also migrate the existing status, which currently is just some sort of human readable non-standard text into similar format? I would like to do this because I just think this is a strict improvement. We can still make JSON or YAML be human readable. However, technically speaking, if someone is already using something like regex, that's obviously not backward compatible. And I wanted to know if there are any concerns with this. It's a bit of a gray area on whether we need to apply Kubernetes policy and keep two versions for a while, or if this is just changing the format like this from human readable to YAML, if we can just presume that no one is using human readable format automatically and just change it in new version.
There are two hands. I think Nick was first.
Yeah, Maciek, I think this sounds like a great idea. We're always getting requests for users to understand more about what the cluster autoscaler is doing. One request I would have, though, is if we're going to turn it into like a schematized format, could we make a proposal to help just kind of have some documentation for the format of what that's, config map is going to look like? That would be my one request.
Absolutely, that's a very good idea. I'm happy to ask that person to send a PR or send it myself. Yeah.
Cool, thanks.
I have vague memories of a similar discussion happening probably a few years ago now, when the discussion about structured logging was happening, about whether or not this exact thing was required because of the moving from non-structured logging, where people might be regexing things, to. So I think this discussion has been had before in a Kubernetes context. I can't remember what the outcome was. I have a rough feeling that it got batted back and forth, and then eventually just went, actually, we don't believe we currently offer any guarantees, so we don't think we need to do but I would need to try and dig out where that discussion happened, because I can't remember. But yeah, I will try and find a link to that sort of discussion, because it sounds very similar. But I think I agree with Elmiko's point of, if we're going for a structure, let's document that structure as well.
Yeah, thanks. That would be super helpful if there is some precedent. I'll also look if there is some precedent around structured logging. Maybe I can find something. But if you know specifically which discussion and you can find it, that would be super helpful. Yeah, I think if there is precedent, I would just go by it. I don't see anyone like kind of arguing for keeping the format. So if there is precedent that says we can just change it in new version of CA, I would just do that. And yeah, I'll make sure to document the new format.
Any more
Okay.
comments over that specific topic? Any other issues that should be discussed today? Anyone? Okay, no volunteers, so let me go through you one by one for people who hasn't spoken yet. Jesse,
Nothing for me, thank you.
Charlie,
Thank you.
Hardley,
Nothing.
Luis,
Thank you.
Jack, Alex,
No, thank you.
Jake, Kairos,
Nope, nothing today. Thank you.
Sophie.
I just want to follow up on that the topic about VPA handover. Basically, me and Luis are the new owners of VPA in Google, and we're still trying to onboard into the open source VPA by reviewing and contributing to the PRs. But now we are the point of contact for the VPA on behalf of Google.
Awesome. Thanks for saying hi.
Michelle?
No.
Okay, so looks like we are done for today. Thank you for joining, and see you again next week. Take care. Bye-bye.
Sorry, I wanted to talk about the Quark provider.
Oh,
Yes.
sorry.
Nice.
Sorry, I completely forgot. Okay, everybody, get back. Okay, sorry. Yeah, please.
Problem. I'll just give a quick intro. Let me share my screen. It is visible. Okay, it is. Awesome. So I wanted to talk about a new cloud provider that we are adding in CA, which is called Quark Provider. So just to give a brief overview of Quark, Quark is basically a tool which is created and sits under SIG Quark. It's a lightweight alternative to CubeMark, and you can simulate thousands of nodes on your laptop without significant consumption of CPU or memory resources. And it says it reliably maintains 1K nodes and 100K pods easily. What Quark Provider does is it acts as a layer on top of Quark and integrates into Cluster Autoscaler. What this means is with Quark Provider, you can, for example, run Cluster Autoscaler on your local machine without having to create nodes in your cloud provider. So it basically makes the API server think the node object that you have actually has a backing virtual machine in cloud provider or anywhere else. So with that, what you can do is the normal kind cluster that you create with the kind create cluster, you can now run Cluster Autoscaler locally. Not that you couldn't before, but now you can run Cluster Autoscaler locally, and you can also have nodes running in there without any significant CPU and memory consumption, and basically test your changes very easily. Another benefit is you can take node objects from your remote cluster. You can take node objects from your remote cluster, and you can also take workloads from your remote cluster, and you can just dump them in your local kind cluster and test how Cluster Autoscaler would behave with those particular workloads. Other interesting thing this Quark provider enables is you can test behavior of Cluster Autoscaler at scale. So for example, this here is Cluster Autoscaler at 3,000 nodes. and you can also see how unschedulable pods behave over time. I was able to create 3,000 nodes or 3,000 nodes on the cluster you get when you do kind of create cluster. You can find more information in the README, in the PR, if you're interested. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask here or in Slack. And if the community is interested, I can also provide a short demo to show how it looks in action.
Very cool. Thank you.
I guess any questions, anything, any comments, any thoughts on this?
I have one comment. First of all, this is super cool and I think very useful for testing changes to autoscaler logic. Just kind of one high-level comment for anyone who wants to use it more broadly, right? A lot of scalability challenges of cluster autoscaler are with integration with particular cloud provider in terms of how many API calls we generate and so on. So I wouldn't necessarily think that the behavior or the performance you can achieve with this provider just directly translates to any particular cloud provider. It just means that core autoscaler logic can handle, let's say, that number of thousands of nodes, but that doesn't mean that any specific real cloud provider can. But still, I think this is super useful in terms of testing the code changes, which currently most contributors don't have access to. Well, running a test on thousands of nodes. So this actually opens possibility of people testing changes that potentially have large scalability impact in the core logic. So thanks. I think this is super useful.
Okay. Thanks for the comment. I think what you said is true. If you want to test something specific to cloud provider, Quark maybe not so useful, but if you just want to test like the core CL logic, I think this is useful. Apart from that, yeah, if the community wants to see a demo, maybe I can show a demo now if there's interest. Otherwise, I'll just stop here.
We still have a couple minutes left, so if you can fit it in 8 minutes, then definitely please go ahead.
Okay, cool. I shouldn't take a lot of time. Cool. So, yes, I'm on my local kind cluster right now. I have another kind cluster. Let's call that the remote cluster. We have 2 workloads running in here in the remote cluster. There is no cluster autoscaler running in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do kgit deploy workload minus so YAML, and I'll dump this into a file. And what I can also do is I can take the nodes here, and I can do minus so YAML, and then that in the file called template nodes, and switch back to a local cluster. This just shows how you can use Quark from use resources from a remote cluster and use them on local cluster. So just to show cluster autoscaler running. So we have cluster autoscaler running, and we also have Grafana running so that we can get metrics from cluster autoscaler. So if you create, and cluster autoscaler is running with the Quark provider flag set to true. So on this. So we have the Quark provider flag set to true. Now, what I am going to do is I'm going to create a config map. Now, there are 2 ways you can provide template nodes to Quark provider. One is by creating a config map and dumping your node YAML in there. The other way is to specify a node selector, like a label selector or an annotation selector in the config map. So here's the config. So right now I'm reading template nodes from the config map. So the template nodes are the nodes cluster autoscaler is going to use to create new nodes, node objects in the cluster. You can specify cluster, then it would select nodes in the cluster and treat nodes which have the same value for instance type label as a single node group. Or you can also specify the node annotation you want to group nodes on. Right now I'm using config map, so I'll just go ahead and show what that looks like. Provider templates. So this is a dump of nodes that you get by default when you install the Helm chart with Quark provider. I'm going to delete this. I'm going to use the nodes from the remote cluster. We have the command in my history, luckily. So just create a config map like this. And I just have to confirm the config looks good. Fine. So the node groups are going to be created on the basis of instance type. And we have two instance types in the remote cluster. So it should be able to create two node groups under the hood. You will not be able to see it. But I'll apply, let me deal cluster autoscaler logs. Don't have space. Here we have cluster autoscaler logs, and I will apply the workload that I dumped in a file. Apply sample workload and cluster autoscaler. So we have one pod. So this sample workload has CPU and memory requests which need one node. So this one needs one node, this one needs one node. So it creates another node. Cluster autoscaler creates another node. And you can see that in the logs. I think I missed the log. Slow. Yep, I think I missed the log. But anyway, yeah, cluster autoscaler basically creates a new node here. And this pod should go into running state, but it isn't. And this seems like a bug that I'm trying to fix. It happens sometimes when you have your cluster running across restarts. So my cluster was running across restarts. So if I just delete it, next time you shouldn't see this. But basically, this is what happens. Your pod would go into running state. If you increase the replicas, for example, I hope I have some. Say 5. You should see cluster autoscaler scale the number of nodes to 5 nodes. So it's scaling here now. So we have 3 nodes. We need 2 more nodes. No, not sorry. Okay, I think it's hitting some issue. Sample errors cannot be scheduled on workload. Predicate checker. Node in match probability. Okay, cool. I think I'm doing something wrong in the workload. Much time do I? Oh, almost there. I think there is some problem with the workload. I need to figure out. But basically, this is what it does. And I'm going to debug here. I don't want to take any more time.
Okay, great. Thank you for doing this demo. This is, as Maciek said, definitely like more than welcome work. We'll try to merge it as soon as possible. One quick comment: please reduce the number of commits to a couple of them, and otherwise seems to be more or less good to go. But I will give it like a more thorough pass soon.
Yep, noted. Thank you.
Again, thank you for doing it, and to all, thanks for joining. See you again next week.
Thank you for your time, everyone.